I want to get you to $100,000 for 2024 cutting hair. But in order to do that, we also have to ask ourselves, is it possible? How can I obtain this? And what does the schedule and regimen look like so that way I can actually achieve it? The simplest answer, and the one that people really don't like to think about, is you have to work as hard as possible for as long as possible for the entire 365 days of the year. Now, that's the simple answer, and that's actually what I did one of the years I was cutting hair, and it is not the best. I highly do not recommend this method at all. So let's learn from my experience. Let's figure out the different steps that we need to take in order to achieve the $100,000 mark just by cutting hair. Before we do that though, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I see a lot of people, they come back to the channel and you guys are still not following. If you guys want to see more content like this where it's educational and I give you my experience and I condense it as much as possible in 10 minutes or less, hit that notification bell as well. So how do we get to $100,000? From my experience, what worked best for me is figuring out exactly where I want to be at that $100,000 mark and then work backwards. Before we get started on figuring out the formula to get to $100,000 and going over the specific steps that we need, I want to make sure that it's clearly known that we are going to work with an average. And by average, I do mean the national average of haircuts pricing for the entire United States. That's where I'm located. So far, the national average across the entire US is going to be $30 for a haircut. We're going to strictly do haircuts. We're not going to tie in any type of beard trimming. We're not going to tie in black mask. We're not going to tie in eyebrows, shampooing, anything else like that. We're strictly just going to do haircuts. The one thing that I will do though is I'm also going to include just an average dollar amount for tip after the haircut, just so we can get a nice baseline for haircut and tip per person. If you are working in a location that charges less than $30, I can go over on how you can increase those prices, especially when it comes to your talent and skill on top of some negotiation. Just make sure that the place that you're working at, the shop owner is comfortable with negotiation. If the shop owner is not comfortable with any type of negotiation, I highly recommend to start looking for a different location that offers any type of lateral movement and that starts at a higher price, especially if you know yourself and you have some type of skill and you are able to gain clients and retain them. We're going to assume that you're only going to work 51 weeks out of the year. We're going to leave 1 week for vacation. And we're also going to do 6 days a week. To get this number, like I said before, it's going to take work. It's not just as simple as working and cutting and charging a higher rate. So 6 days a week, we're going to assume that you're doing 12 people a day. I'm not asking you to do 30 people a day. I don't think that's reasonable. Back when I was cutting hair for a while, I was doing 30 people a day. I was cranking them out and treating it like a factory. I'm telling you right now, longevity-wise, you're going to get burnt out. You may learn some things here and there, but clients want to be in the chair for at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Please do not go in and do a 20 to 15 minute haircut. So 6 days a week, 12 people a day at $30 a haircut. We're just going to multiply the 12 by the $30, and then we're going to multiply that by 0.5. The reason we're going to multiply that by 0.5 is because we're going to assume that you're going to work in a commission-based barbershop. Commission-based is recommended. I would try to avoid chair rental as much as possible. One, there's no contract. Two, as soon as the shop owner, at least any other barbershop that I've worked in, and also based off of experience in my 10 years, the minute the shop owner sees that you're doing well and your clients are coming in and you're retaining them as much as possible, that chair rent can increase from anywhere from a month afterwards to every week on top of that. I've seen a shop where it was 15 people a chair and it went down to 3. He constantly wanted to increase rates and people are leaving because they weren't making no money on top of that. Work with commission so that way if you're slow, so is the shop owner. We're going to do 12 times 30 times 0.5 for that commission. It's going to get us $180. 180 multiplied by 6, it's going to get us 1080. Multiply that by 51 weeks, and that's going to get us roughly above $55,000. And then we're going to assume that each client on the low end is going to tip $5 after the haircut. Following the same formula of 12 people a day at 6 days a week for 51 weeks, that's going to equal out to be $18,360. Adding that with our initial haircut price with commission, that gets us to $73,440. That's pretty good. You're already making more than the average person coming out of the US after taxes. The average American as of December 25th, 2023 is at $58,389. So looking at that number, we can assume another way would be to increase your time that you're at the shop, go from $12 to $15 per person. We can increase another day so we can get more clients. And yes, those are definitely good ways, and those are definitely ways that I've done in the past. But again, we're trying to get there to a point where we're working smarter, not harder. So we want to make sure that we can get there in a reasonable amount of time without damaging our body. Because I'm telling you right now, 7 days a week, every single day for an entire year, not missing any type of holidays or anything else like that. And on top of that, not getting any type of sick days, it wears you down tremendously. I did it for my first year of cutting hair in my own business. So how do we get there? What's going to be our first step in order to get to $100,000 as a barber? Step one is going to be having a portfolio. A lot of you do not have any pictures, videos, any type of edits, any type of reference, any type of anything to show your work. And because of that, that's going to be a hindrance to you and to the people trying to figure out who you are. If you don't have a portfolio of any of your work, you can't showcase it to anybody, you can't get any clientele, and you can't get the retention because you have no clientele. Yes, you can always get a walk-in and do a good job, and then that person will tell another person, but you want to make sure you don't have to wait for the chance of somebody walking in and then it's your turn and you're cutting them. You want to make sure that you can go out there and actually get that client and make sure that they're retained. Anytime you're at the shop by yourself, you can message, you can DM, you can post a story, you can post an actual post, you can post a video, a reel, a short, anything. Whenever you're outside, you can show your people who you are and tell them that you're a barber, and then show them your work, where you located, and then next thing you know, they're there as a client. You can get more clients that way. Basically, the whole premise is if a person does not know what they are buying, they're going to be more reluctant to come to you and actually buy the experience. That being said, it is not the shop owner's responsibility to take the pictures for you. It is not their responsibility to take the videos for you. And it's also not their responsibility to post anything for you as well. Step two, learn how to negotiate. Anytime I was going into multiple different barbershops when I was younger, I would have to learn how to negotiate my worth. With that came showing my portfolio, showed my work, showed my videos, showed my content, showed that I knew how to get clients, retain them, and show how the shop looked and showed the environment that I was working in. How I would negotiate whenever I was going to a different barbershop is I would specifically talk to the shop owner and I would try to work out a reasonable way to where we could increase my price individually and then also ask for a higher percentage on top of that depending on my license. Later on, we're gonna go into a formula with the same percentage because I wanna make sure that we work with a specific baseline that's still at 50%. We're not gonna go into the range of 55 or 60% because again, some people may not have higher tiered licenses. If you do, you already know another way to make money, have that specific license, you will be able to get a higher percentage. So negotiate with the shop owner. I would let them know that I'm in there for the long haul. I want to build up their shop. I want to build up myself as well. And I want to make sure I bring as much business to the shop as possible. So a quick example, I always like to lead within a month to 2 months. So either 4 to 8 weeks. And I would ask them, hey, would it be reasonable if in the first 4 to 8 weeks, and if I can get consecutive clients, retain consecutive clients, and get you as much business as possible, could I eventually be able to charge a higher price than everybody else? If the shop owner disagrees with that, you may want to check around and shop around different barbershops. If any shop owner actually understood and wanted the best for their barbers, they would try their best so that way they can stay into the barbershop, go in for the long haul, and make sure they can move up laterally. The only way I could really combat that if a shop owner were to say no, that you can't increase your prices individually, I would just ask them why, and then also let them know that it's not uncommon for other barbershops to do it, and then also other salons to do it as well. At the end of the day, if they keep their same percentage at 50% and allowed you to increase a higher price, they would tend to most likely say yes, because that way they could get more money as well. You could get more money as well. It's a win-win for both situations. The only time I've ever seen it not work is based on a shop owner not really knowing what they're doing, and they're actually scared of their other barbers getting upset. If that's the case, again, walk away, find a different barbershop. If you can't grow there, there's no point in you being there. So step number 3 is going to be master your industry. Learn as much as you can, as quickly as you can, but it's also really important that you master how to get clients. I have another video here. If you want to watch it, it's going to show you how to get clients and how to retain clients. When I tell you to master your industry, it means that you should know how to get somebody in your chair and not leaving it all up to the shop owner. If you leave it all up to the shop owner, they have every single right to take more of a percentage from you. But if you put in that work, then you also have the right to ask for more percentage of them. Mastering your industry also means being respectful to clients. It means being able to befriend your clients. It means to be actually show that you're courteous. It means that you actually care about the shop that you're working in. You're taking care of the chair. You're taking care of the station. You buy the right equipment. You make sure that you actually want to try your hardest. And for many of you that are out there that do not have licenses, I can't stress enough how important it is to get your license, because all that does, on top of being able to actually work in the field, you can actually use that as leverage. If you have your barber's license, you can get a higher percentage. If you have your manager's license, you can get an even higher percentage. And then if you have your teacher's license, you have pretty much free reign of doing whatever you want to do. So let's take a look at some numbers again. One more time, we are going to plug in everything that we plugged in from step 1, 2, and 3. For the first half, we'll go and do 8 weeks. We're going to tell the shop owner in negotiation, hey, I was able to get clients. I was able to bring you more business. I want to be able to do a price jump of $10 so we can go from $30 to $40. So first half, we'll go and do 8 weeks, same days that we did, same price that we did. Following the same formula, we're gonna get $8,640 for the haircuts and then $2,880 in tips. Then after negotiating with the shop owner, we're gonna assume that we do a $10 jump, and then following that, another $5 for the tip, making it $10 for a tip per person. Plugging into the formula, we are gonna get 12 times $40 a haircut. Multiply that by 0.5. We're then going to get $240. Again, we're going to stick to that 50% commission because I don't want to increase it. Again, if you want to do the numbers of an increased percentage of 55%, clearly you will get a higher number than we are going to get. So $240, multiply that by 6 days a week. It's going to get us to $1,440. $1,440, multiply that by 43 weeks, gets us to $61,920. We're then going to multiply 10 times 12 people a day for $10 a tip. It gets us to $120. $120, we're going to multiply that by 6. It's going to equal out to $720. $720, multiply that by 43 weeks. We are then going to get $30,960. Now let's plug the numbers in. We're going to do the $30,960 multiplied by the $61,920. It's going to get us to $92,880. We're almost there, but now we have to plug in the added number for the first 8 weeks. That $8,640 and $2,880 added together gets us $11,520. Combine the 92 with the 11, that's going to get us $104,400. So breaking it down like that, you can see that it is obtainable with some simple math. Of course, it is easier said than done, but if you are able to follow these 3 steps, I guarantee you will be able to make 6 figures. You also have to be able to understand the location that you are currently in and if it works for you. If you are in an area where the income is lower and the haircuts are lower, and there might not be an escape of being able to raise your prices because of the income being so low, and you're watching this video, you know that you're doing everything that you can to increase your net worth. So what you need to do is find a different location that offers any type of lateral movement, some type of negotiation, and be in an area with at least a decent amount of income. So I am based right outside of Philly, so I wouldn't be doing this if I were in Kensington and Allegheny. Look that up at your own risk. So know where you are going, know where the location is where you can have negotiability and where you have some type of lateral movement. And if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. A little backstory about me. I almost dropped out of high school because of how bad I was doing. I actually had to get my girlfriend then at the time, now my wife, just to help me graduate. She had to fill out some packets that I was too lazy to do. I was able to hit my first 6 figures right around, I want to say 22, 23 years old. So if a person like me about to fail out of high school and needing my now wife to help me graduate can do it, so can you. You're already doing better than me, because when I was younger learning how to do this, I was doing everything myself and making my mistakes myself. I wasn't doing any type of research on YouTube or Google trying to figure out any other method of how to increase my prices. Literally, it took me trial and error. So I want to make sure that you avoid these mistakes as much as possible, so that way you can take these steps and actually implement them in your daily life so you can increase your net worth. I want you to succeed. I want all my barbers to succeed. I want everybody that's close to me to succeed. So please take this and put in the effort and make sure that you try your hardest this year. Again, if you want to learn how to get more clients, I have another video that's going to be right here somewhere. Click that. It'll tell you how to get more clients. Again, please learn from my mistakes. If you guys watch this video and really enjoy it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. Turn on the notification bell, because I'm going to try to make your year as positive as possible.